Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk all things major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and much more. I'm your host, Chris, and the MCU rumor mill is always busy, but today it was particularly busy with updates coming for Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, yes, you heard me right, the Kang Dynasty movie, Secret Wars, the Fantastic Four cast for John Krasinski and his wife Emily Blunt, and some Spider-Man 4 news. So we're going to be covering all of that in today's video in your MCU update location. If you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the other major movie and television news updates that we have daily here happening on the channel. You can also follow me on my other socials, Instagram at Chris M. Rosser and Twitter at TheCultureChris. Links to both of those are in the description down below. So there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of things that I know you guys are all very excited for Secret Wars to happen in the MCU, for the possibility of a multiversal war that will feature a lot of different characters. And then of course the Fantastic Four news and Spider-Man news. This is an all-out alert for you guys who are absolutely excited for these massive topics. So let's just jump right in with the Iron Man news, because quite frankly, and I was actually thinking to myself today, I miss Iron Man in the MCU. There's something about Robert Downey Jr. and his passion for the character, and Iron Man from 2008, and all of the thoughts and excitement and the nostalgia at this point that goes with that definitely had me feeling a little sad that he's no longer a part of the MCU. However, according to an inside source, we're hearing that Disney is planning a massive comeback for Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark in the Avengers Secret Wars movie. Now there's some debate out there whether or not this will be for the Kang Dynasty movie and the Secret Wars movie, or if this is just for Secret Wars, and some people are saying yes and some people are saying no. What I'm saying is, regardless, it would be an absolute gem to see even a variant of Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man return to the big screen just for a moment, just to make a comment, some type of iconic sentence or a quick fight scene, whatever it be. I can already imagine the theater when that moment hits. Think about Spider-Man No Way Home and all of the cameos we had there and the exciting moments, but I think even bigger than that. I do believe Iron Man has cultivated a place in all of our hearts, especially after Avengers Endgame, where he sacrificed himself to save everybody. I think that that's earned him a massive ovation if he returns for Avengers Secret Wars. And honestly, the possibility of this character coming back isn't even that much of a question, with the multiverse being open and us now having seen several variants of characters who look exactly the same. Loki, Doctor Strange, the Scarlet Witch, all of these characters match different versions of themselves from the main MCU timeline, and for that reason it's very believable. Not only believable, likely that a Robert Downey Jr. clone from a different multiverse, a variant from a different universe, exists. So, very high expectation coming from the rumors today, and just thinking about overall Marvel wanting to cash out on Iron Man one more time for Robert Downey Jr. to have a return. But we also want to talk about what is happening with the Fantastic Four in the MCU. This is a topic of conversation that a lot of people are talking about and has a lot of conflicting reports. People are saying that the Fantastic Four cast hasn't even been looked at yet. People are saying that the Fantastic Four cast has been decided and John Krasinski's not a part of it. People are saying John Krasinski is going to return and play Mr. Fantastic in the main timeline, in the MCU timeline. Well, here's what Emily Blunt, wife of John Krasinski and your guys' favorite pick for the Invisible Woman, wife of Mr. Fantastic, has to say about their current situation.
I'm not going to ask you about any Marvel things, but what was the conversation when John got the call to put fuel on the fire to have that little tiny...
I was really happy for him, because I think he's a huge fan, and I understand why it's such a kind of ardent, passionate religion for people. It's a huge part of our cinematic history now. So he was thrilled. He was thrilled.
Yeah, I think everyone else was as well.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see him again. Maybe.
Well, I hope so. Who knows? You never know.
Thank you for your time.
Something that I think is important to note here is overall Emily Blunt's idea of Marvel movies has seemed to change. In the past, when she's been asked about if she'll ever join the MCU or any type of comic book movie, she said that's not really the genre for her. Her song seems to have changed a little here in this quote, as she talks about how she understands why people love Marvel movies so much and that they have become a central part of cinema. So with that being said, her husband is delighted as a big fan to be a part of it, and she was happy for him. Now, there's a lot of questions about what exactly she might be doing in the future, and she's not really inclined to answer any of that. And even when they ask her about her own husband's returning, she kind of puts her hand to her mouth and kind of cuts it all off. And that is a part I think is very interesting. Why was this necessary? Like, stop asking me questions about this. Does she have some type of information now that she shouldn't really be talking about Marvel at all? You can even see when this originally gets brought up and he says, I'm not going to talk to you too much about Marvel. She kind of has this face of like, are you really going to bring this up? Now, in the past, that would have been because it's not a topic she's necessarily super into. Even though there was a moment where we thought she might have been playing Black Widow, she's always been the biggest Marvel fan. But we saw in this interview that that's changed. So she has this look of dismay. She answers the question kind of reluctantly, and then she puts her hand to her mouth and says, shh, and that's the end of the interview. So I'm very curious what information might be had here. I'm curious if John Krasinski will be returning either as the MCU timeline Mr. Fantastic or in Secret Wars, like with Robert Downey Jr., as a variant from a different universe where he matches the look of Mr. Fantastic from the universe we were familiar with, however briefly. Regardless, it is exciting. The Fantastic Four casting news has been a real riot, and it's been something kind of crazy to follow as a YouTuber or reporter, and as a fan myself, trying to figure out where exactly we will be falling when it does come to the Fantastic Four cast in the MCU. Hopefully we'll be getting some real updates on that very soon. And to close out today's crazy video, there is a current rumor going around that Marvel Studios and Sony are reportedly eyeing a July 12th, 2024 release day for Spider-Man 4. Now, more specifically, Spider-Man 4, Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU. July 12th, 2024. So, a little bit less than 2 years away from now, and something to be very excited about. The timeline there obviously not given to us during SDCC or D23, as Sony is usually who announces the official release date for the Spider-Man films. Now, this is by no means confirmed. This is just some of the very early rumors we're hearing. However, coming from my comic circus, who is very accurate with a lot of their reports, it's something definitely to keep in your thoughts in the background as we prepare for this next phase of Marvel, with Black Panther Wakanda Forever closing out Phase 4, and then us moving into Phase 5, which is going to be fully loaded, extremely busy, and hopefully full of some really awesome Marvel surprises. But that is the news in a quick video I did for you today. Let me know what you're most excited for, Robert Downey Jr. returning, the Fantastic Four cast, or Spider-Man 4, in the comment section down below. As always, thank you to everybody who watched till the very end of the video. If you found it helpful, useful, or entertaining, consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell. I'll catch you guys all in the next one, right here on Cosmic Culture.